This is Metrosource Minis, the official podcast of Metrosource Magazine and home of short-form interviews with your favorite personalities from the LGBTQ world and beyond. Quick, fun, and informative. It's Metrosource on the go. Out and proud since 1990. Hello, this is Metrosource Minis. I'm your host, Alexander Rodriguez, lead writer for Metrosource and avid podcaster. So in the LGBTQ land, we say, hey, queen, but what does that really mean? So today I'm chatting with the perfect expert who is also one of our fabulous allies who was featured in the latest issue of Metrosource. And she's making me laugh, but I'm still going to do this intro. She's an Olivier Award winner for her West End debut in ZORRO the Musical. She made her Broadway debut, originating the role of Mrs. Wormwood in Matilda the Musical. And after 1,000 performances, with children, by the way, she bid farewell to the Broadway company Matilda, crossed the street to the Helen Hayes Theater to star in Dames at Sea. Off-Broadway, she starred as Princess in Emoji Land and Cindy Lou Who in the one-woman tour de force, Who's Holiday, and her hilarious show-stopping performance earned her a critical acclaim, including a Drama Desk nomination for Outstanding Solo Performance. She has multiple TV and film appearances, as well as played all of your favorite roles in regional theater. And she's the creator star of Looks Not Books and Ship Happens, the popular backstage vlogs commissioned by Broadway.com, as well as the digital short series Sparkle Puff, all of which you can see on YouTube. And her books, Neck Punch and Carry On and Blue, are available on Amazon and iTunes. And her debut live album, which is a must-listen, especially during COVID, Rule Your Kingdom, is currently in stores and available on all digital platforms. Please welcome the girl, the girl with the last name that is close to my heart. Please welcome Lesli Margherita.
Alexander.
Okay, we have to tell them why we're laughing.
Okay, so I'm in the middle of a move. My husband and I are moving. So, and it looks pretty set up back here, but
it looks amazing.
I'm literally building a bar cart on see, there we go.
Oh, that is good. Is that going to be?
Is it going to be what? Functional?
Is it going to be big enough for all? Poor thing. We're trying to do this interview, and Leslie's like, "Oh, this interview." And she's like, "Oh." So I have to tell you, I forgot, which is why I look like this. And then Alexander, I was like, "This is just a podcast, right? You're not going to see my face." He was like, "No, we're going to see your face. Do you want to reschedule?" And I thought about it for 20 seconds, and then was like, "No, it's fine. Just no, it's not going to get any better. Let's just do it." So, yeah. Well, I mean, your around the house building furniture look is better than most people will ever look in their lifetime because you are a queen. Hey, queen.
Hi, queen.
So let's talk about it. You are a self-proclaimed queen. What does that mean?
It doesn't mean what you think it means. It means that as a kid, I always said I rule. Leslie rules, and I wrote it everywhere. So to me, it's just the title I gave myself. And I tell people to give themselves whatever title they want, whether that's king, queen, head, fart head, whatever you want to call yourself. And it just means that I rule my little kingdom of me. That's it. It doesn't mean I'm better than anyone else, but everyone else is going to give you a title. So give yourself one that you like.
I love that. Some people give themselves title power top, and sometimes it rings true, and sometimes it does not. Sometimes it's not. Like, girl.
False advertising. So make sure that you live up to your title.
There you go. So your career has always fascinated me because usually a musical theater, a diva will do Broadway, then West End, then TV film. And you kind of did it backwards. Right through college, you did TV. Then you went over to the West End, picked up an Olivier Award on your way to Broadway. What was it like getting a TV job right after school? I mean, that's like a dream come true.
It was until I couldn't get another one. So, the hardest thing was I was, 17, 18, and you're like, oh my God, this is amazing. This is so easy to get on a TV show. And I did 22 episodes of it. And I was like, this is simple. I'll just be on TV the rest of my life. And then you realize that doesn't always happen that way. So I see a lot of kids that get Broadway shows right away or TV shows. And I'm like, just take it for what it is. And I go back and forth. Like I'm really happy that it happened, but I also think it was it was good because now I totally appreciate when I work now because I know how hard it is. But yeah, I after getting that TV show, I was like, well, then I'll get on Broadway. Nope, nobody would hire me. And then even after going to London, you know, I still had to like struggle to get that Broadway show, and it just never works the way you think it's going to work. It just never does. And if it for the very few that it does, great. But most of us know that it is like an up and down thing.
Yep.
And I just learned it a little bit later.
What was like the first extravagant thing you bought with that first acting TV paycheck?
I actually, the first extravagant, and I don't really buy extravagant thing. I mean, I do.
Okay, Miss Barkhart in the corner.
Well, it's like from Target. But like, I didn't buy like a car or anything. I bought a dress actually for opening night, for the opening like premiere of that TV show, and I bought like a really expensive dress. And that was
hey queen.
Hey queen. I know.
Hey,
I spend money on like wigs and dresses and stuff. I'd rather do that than, I don't know, really extravagant like cars or I don't know.
Amen.
No.
All right, let's talk about going over to the West End, getting an Olivier Award for Zorro. Was it a little odd mounting the show and then winning the top award, but isolated from your friends and family in the US? You're like kind of out there.
Oh my gosh. Yes. And it was right before social media. Like social media had just started. This was like 2010. So like it was just starting. Had that happened now, it would have been so much easier, I think, for me because I love social media and I would have been like, oh my God, you know, like all over. But because it wasn't, it was really isolating and weird and people didn't know. It was very strange. And I had a really hard time over there in the beginning just because, I mean, I had amazing people there in the show, but it was difficult to not have that connection. And even like, there was no FaceTime, you know, a decade ago, which is crazy, but it just, you know, we were like on Skype and it was just weird stuff. So yeah, it was different. I do wish it had happened in the social media age because I would have felt a little more connected, but yeah, it was weird that I didn't know anybody there. Like even the people at the award show, they were like, great.
Yeah.
Okay.
That has to be so weird. It's like, I guess I'll go to the after party of one.
Well, you know, what's so funny is my husband was there and I gave a crazy speech because I did not expect to win.
Yes, you did. It's on YouTube, by the way, everybody.
Yes, on YouTube. But the thing is, afterwards, my poor husband had to carry around the award like everywhere because all the Brits wanted like pictures with me like a zoo animal, literally, because they thought I was so crazy. So they were like, here's the nutso American. And they'd want a picture. So it was like they knew me, but it was just as a cuckoo American. It was so odd. But yeah, it was literally like the freak attraction that night.
Well, you know, we've all been kind of isolated during COVID. Do you have any advice for somebody that's kind of isolated from their family?
I mean, just keep yourself busy. That is, I had to do it there too. I had to like find other things to do. And it was just, because it gets to you, and me alone with my thoughts is not good. So I have to have things that are like at least keep me occupied, video games, whatever, reading, you know, that's the only thing I can say. And now obviously you can call people and see their face, but yeah, it's tough to be alone.
Did you come back to the US with like a Madonna accent?
No, I wish I did. Although a couple of my friends said that I did. I think I came back with words more than anything.
Yes.
Like, phrases, but not like I still say gobsmacked because it's such a great word.
It is.
So there's like a couple things, cock up, and like
what's cock up? Oh, like when you just like
fucked up, like messed up.
Oh.
Like it was a total cock up, which I love.
It's also a bar in West Hollywood, but that's a different story. Okay, so let's talk ups and downs. You come back from the US, you know, you have an Olivier Award in your suitcase. Were you just like off the plane, like, here I am, give me all the parts, give me all the auditions? Was there like an adjustment? Like Broadway is like, now you know.
God. Yeah. I came back, and then like a week later, I got cast in a workshop in New York, and I was like, here it comes, here it all comes. And
Give
like,
me that Tony.
right? Like went out to the workshop went nowhere. And I was so close to like a couple roles, and then I didn't get anything. And it was like another like year and a half before even I started auditioning for Matilda. Like it was a while. It just didn't happen. And it was disheartening and awful. But you know what? I went right back to doing regional theater out here in LA and around the country. And I love regional theater. And what was so great is, I think that smaller theaters don't get their due. It's all about Broadway, and that's not it. Like that is just a place, and finally getting there and knowing how much it meant to me to be there and how much I loved it really did, though, like, really like reminded me that all of these theaters are still important too. So it wasn't a big deal to me to do the West End and then go back to do a show in La Mirada out here. You know what I mean? Like it was just, it was all the kind of the same thing. So, and that really saved me was doing shows again. And weirdly in LA, there's like a huge theater community. So yeah, it really kind of saved me, but it took a while to finally get that Broadway show. And then it was the Brits who gave it to me, of course.
Yeah. The British invasion. So during COVID, theater has gone digital. You and 3 co-stars performed in You I Like, Jerry Herman musical celebration. It was filmed beautifully on the stage of the Pasadena Playhouse, which is one of the oldest playhouses in California, to an empty audience. You got to sing the title song, Hello, Dolly. You also sang I Am What I Am, which is a heavy, heavy song because it comes with ideas of who's performed it before, but it's also become a big anthem for the LGBTQ community. Did you kind of have nerves when you found out you were going to do that song? And what was kind of your creative approach to singing it?
I pooped my pants when I heard I was singing it. It's the only song, and I don't like to watch myself. It was, again, like my husband, I was like, was it okay? Was it okay? Because that one song was the one that I was really like concerned about. Because it meant so much to me, and I know how much it means to so many people. I know that it's odd to have a woman sing it, but it also then means totally so many other things too. Right. It was a huge amount of pressure, and I really was so afraid to cock it up. And it really did. I did not take it lightly, that song. I purposely didn't listen to other people's versions because I didn't want to be swayed by that. Although after I did listen to some versions, and the ones I loved the most were like the non-sung ones, like Doug Hodge, who did the revival. It was so beautiful and so simple, and just I really loved it. So yeah, it was a lot. So I hope I did it justice in some way. I just wanted to make it mine.
You certainly did. You brought different shades to that song, and it wasn't just this bombastic kind of anthem. It was a story and a journey on its own. It was very, very moving. Especially during COVID, we're all kind of rediscovering who we are because we didn't 100%. Have outside noise. We didn't have pressures of our friends or any other societal pressures, I guess. And so I think a lot of us did kind of just rediscover who we are, and I think we're ready to come out of it knowing who I am, what I am.
Yeah, totally.
And right now I'm about a size 18. That's what I am.
I mean, listen, I've got a sweatshirt that I can just. I should have done that when you called. I was like, what?
It's South Park. So before theater, what was kind of your relationship with the LGBTQ community?
Oh my gosh. And, we've talked about this before. My mother says I was raised by gays. Like I very luckily had a family that it was a non-issue. Like being gay, it was just, I started theater so young, and that's who took care of me. We're like, my mom would just leave me, and she knew I'd be in fantastic hands with the gay man. It was just a non-issue. So I grew up not having any kind of negative connotation to it. And that really comes from, I believe, from your environment, from family, from, and I was very, very lucky that way. So it was always more bizarre to me that people weren't okay with it. Growing up, I was so turned off by that. So I have always kind of thought of myself as an ally from very, very young, because I just didn't get it. I still don't get it, that people have a problem with it, whatever. But it's, it just, I was very, very lucky that I would say from 7 on, it was just a non-issue.
Well, and that's the way to do it. We're having conversations. We have youth that are coming out questioning their identity or pronouncing their identity. Mm-hmm. And so there are conversations that are being had much younger, which is great, because then it's a non-issue. We didn't have that when I was growing up.
No. And I think about, how many of my friends growing up that I knew were struggling. And I was always, as there always is, I was always the friend that they would come to and tell. But in those days, you couldn't, when you're a teenager, you don't really, at least in our day, you couldn't talk about it. Yeah. And that was terrible. And so I'm really happy now that, it's still not there, but it's getting there. We're having the conversation. So
now, we assume that musical theater is a safe space for our community. But did you see that shaken up at all by our last political regime?
Yeah. I mean, not so much the arts, although I think there were so many repercussions from it. But it was very evident, people that aligned themselves with that party, that
yes,
became very evident, and that was very hard for most of us to swallow, to see anyone align with that who's in the arts. So I think it was more our I don't want to say that the arts was shaken up. I think it was more just our sense of like, it was just,
that
difficult. It felt like we were being kind of brushed under the rug even more than the arts usually are. So it was just disappointing.
That's a really good point, because people I've done shows with in the past, or directors I've worked with, all of a sudden were taking sides, and it was not the side that I would have chosen. And it was a huge shock. And it was like, well, we're not even protected in our safe space.
Which was crazy.
Yeah.
But, the other side of it is you have to honor people's choices, or, I just had to kind of disassociate and say, okay, bye, go live your lives. And it was odd. It was very strange. Really, really, really bizarre. And people were very vocal about their choices, whether I agreed with them or not, which is great. But it made for some difficult inroads as to, especially like new works and what was being told. Yeah. Voices were allowed to speak, and it was a mess. So I'm glad I think we're on the other side, hopefully.
Now, where do you think you draw your personal strength from? We talked about kind of your ups and downs. You're a hard worker, but that has to come from yourself, being a strong person.
It does, but I have been struggling during this, and I think most of us have. And it is like reminding myself of the things that I preach. I don't take my own advice. And so I have to remind myself that I am strong, that we will get through times like this, that work will come back, that it's all of that. And it is really difficult. And I talked to a lot of my friends that are going through the same thing, who are very strong people. This has been, obviously it's unprecedented, and this has been so difficult to grasp for even the strongest willed person, because there is nothing you can do. And that's where I have to get the strength from, is realizing there is nothing I can do. I can't control a pandemic, but what I can control is I can get up every day. I can do this, I can do that, and some days are really difficult. Some days I'm like, okay, let's go for it. But it's been a struggle. I'm not going to lie. And a lot of people have been like, I flourished during COVID. Great. It was up and down for me a lot. So getting strength from wherever you can, honestly.
Well, and you've been very, what I love about you is that you do share that, with your social media audience in a very touching way. And I think it inspired a lot of people, number one, to keep going, but also to kind of take a breath and be like, it's okay that I'm in this place right now. It's okay. Yeah. I can have a low, bad day. I can order Postmates 5 times in one day.
And that's the other thing too, is I do always say I'm having a crap day, and it is okay. And it just, unfortunately, there were a lot of them in the last year or so. And I think there still will be. And that's okay, too.
Yeah. What message do you have for your LGBTQ fans? Pride is around the corner.
Please just keep fighting the fight. I really, truly believe there are better times coming. And if you've gotten through these past few years, I think it's going to be not smooth sailing, but a little smoother going forward. It's just keep fighting the fight and continue to be who you are, and to just tune out the noise as much as you can. As difficult as that is just tune out the noise, because nobody deserves to tell you what you are, who you are, what you should be. It makes me so angry.
All right. This one's for social media. Dear Lesli, how can somebody be a queen of their own kingdom in their everyday life? Like, what's a daily thing?
How can somebody be a queen in their own kingdom in their daily life? It is realizing that nobody else's opinions, no one else's words can penetrate the moat in your little drawbridge in your castle. You are the ruler of whatever you put around you. So, and just remember that is how you can be a queen. Is maybe it is somebody, criticizing you or saying something that you don't agree with. Maybe just once that day, just say, I'm not going to listen to that, and don't, and just cut it out of your mind. I think just doing little things like that is enough, is being the ruler of your own kingdom. I need to follow my own advice. I so need to follow my own advice.
You are so fabulous. And you better trademark that, because some self-help person out there is going to have this castle with this, like, on stage, this moat coming down. Like, you just know it's going to happen.
Totally.
Yeah. Tony Robbins.
Just going to say, I'd be like.
Yeah. All right, Lesli, let's wrap it up with a little rapid fire. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
There's going to be a new musical based on your life. What's it called?
Sparkle.
Sparkle?
I was going to say glitter, but that was a debacle.
That was.
Well, I would say Mafia Princess. Mafia Princess is a good one. I don't know. God. God. It's a difficult question. Oh my gosh.
No, that's good. Okay, what has been one of your least favorite audition songs that you've done, and you're like, ugh, I hate singing this song?
I mean, all of them. I hate auditions. I'm terrible. I can't stand them. So all of them. I used to sing "Gorgeous" from the Apple Tree for everything, and there were days, and I love the song, but there were days I felt so hideous, and I'd be like, "I'm gorgeous," and it's raining outside.
And they're like, that is beautifully ironic. There's like a lash coming down. But you know what? If you feel gorgeous, you are gorgeous, right? Queen of your own kingdom. Yeah. What has been one of your favorite moments on stage that you just look back, you're like, oh, that was a favorite moment?
I mean, my Broadway debut, the first preview of Matilda was just, I remember exactly what it was and just wanting to burst into tears. And I don't think I'll ever forget that moment. That was my favorite, for sure.
Love it. What is your pre-show ritual? What are you doing a half hour or an hour before curtain?
Probably eating candy, having a Diet Dr. Pepper, and, oh, look, my doggy. And playing video games, for sure.
Oh, that's awesome.
100%.
Okay, and last, Patty or Bernadette? How about Patty or Bernadette in Gypsy?
Oh, that's it. You're talking to the girl who had to see every single dolly because I love all of them equally, and I'm such a fangirl, and I will never compare them. I can't. That's
okay. Okay. Queen Lesli, tell everybody where you want them to find you and follow you.
Oh my gosh, everywhere. I'm Queen Lesli with no E, just Queen Lesli on Twitter, on Instagram. I do the TikToks, but rarely.
I'm fighting it.
It's a lot of work. And like, I'll spend hours on one that nobody will see. And then I'll be like on another and millions of people. So it's just.
Isn't that weird?
I give up.
Oh, Lesli, it is such a pleasure to chat with you. You are free to go back to building your bar card.
Oh, good. Thankfully.
And when this is all over, I'm going to come and use that bar card.
Please do. Please do. By the way, I don't know if you can see this here, but that is my Olivier right next to Baby Yoda.
Oh, so Grogu.
Grogu.
Olivier. And by the way, Grogu is the name. That's the best they could do.
I know. He will always be Baby Yoda. Baby Yodes.
Always.
Babes Yodes.
Babes Yodes.
Babes Yodes.
All right, Lesli, I love you so much.
Love
and you. I hope to see you soon.
Love. Mwah.
That has been my chat with Lesli Margherita. You can read my in-depth interview with her in the latest issue of Metrosource on newsstands across the nation or at metrosource.com. And that is our episode. I'm your host, Alexander Rodriguez. You can follow me on Instagram at AlexanderIsOnAir. And until next time, stay true and do you, boo. Be the queen of your own kingdom. That has been another Metrosource Mini. Like, share, and subscribe on your favorite podcast player, and check out the latest issue of Metrosource magazine on newsstands or online at metrosource.com. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram at Metrosource, and on Twitter at Metrosource Mag. Until next time, stay fabulous.